ABD's creations, where imagination comes to life, long before highways crossed the mountains, before cities filled the valleys with lights, there was a hidden forest, deep within the Appalachian Mountains. It was a place no map could truly reveal. The people living in nearby villages simply called it the Silver Forest. They believed every tree had been touched by moonlight, every stream carried tiny stars, and every breeze whispered stories that only kind hearts could hear. Most people thought these were only old fairy tales, stories told beside fireplaces on quiet winter nights. But every legend begins somewhere, and every little bit of magic waits for someone brave enough to believe. Not far from the edge of the forest stood a small wooden village named Ashbrook. It was peaceful, simple, filled with warm bakeries, little gardens, and friendly faces. Among its wooden cottages lived a young woman named Elena. She wasn't a princess. She wasn't famous. She wasn't searching for adventure. Elena spent her mornings helping her grandmother bake fresh bread for the village. Every afternoon she carried baskets through winding streets, greeting everyone with a smile. She loved ordinary things, the smell of fresh pine after rain, the sound of birds greeting the sunrise, the quiet light of the moon resting above the mountains. People often said Elena had the kindest heart in Ashbrook. Perhaps that was why. The forest had been quietly watching her for many years. Every full moon, a single silver butterfly appeared outside her window. It never entered. It never flew away while she watched. It simply waited, as though inviting her somewhere. Eleanor always smiled, but she never followed, until one autumn evening, the butterfly did something it had never done before. It began flying toward the silver forest, slowly, patiently, stopping every few moments, as if making sure Elena was still behind it. She hesitated only once. Then, with one deep breath, she stepped beyond the old wooden gate and into a story that had been waiting for her since the day she was born. The butterfly floated deeper into the silent forest, never rushing, never stopping, as if it already knew the path by heart. Lily followed without thinking. Each step carried her farther away from the world she had always known. The air became softer. The ordinary sounds of the forest slowly disappeared, replaced by a quiet melody that seemed to come from the trees themselves. It wasn't a song she could recognize, yet somehow it felt familiar, like a forgotten lullaby from long ago. Silver flowers began to bloom along the narrow trail with every step she took. They opened only for a moment before fading into tiny sparks of light that drifted into the cool night sky. Lily reached out to touch one, but it vanished just before her fingertips could feel its petals. She smiled. The forest wasn't trying to frighten her. It was welcoming her. A gentle breeze moved through the towering trees, carrying the scent of pine, wild lavender, and something sweeter, something she had never smelled before. Far ahead, The butterfly slowed. Between two ancient trees stood a magnificent stone archway covered in glowing vines. Strange symbols shimmered across its surface, changing like flowing water beneath the moonlight. Lily stepped closer. The symbols began to glow brighter. For a brief moment, the entire forest fell completely silent. Even the wind stopped. Then the ancient doorway awakened. A soft golden light slowly appeared beyond the arch, stretching across the ground like a welcoming path. Lily took a slow breath. Without knowing why, she felt that the moment she crossed this doorway, her greatest adventure would finally begin. Lily stood silently before the ancient stone archway, her heart beating just a little faster than before. The glowing butterfly hovered near the center of the arch, as if patiently waiting for her to take one final step. She looked back. The forest behind her seemed strangely different now. The path she had followed only moments ago had completely disappeared beneath the silver mist. There was no way to return. For a brief moment, uncertainty filled her mind. Then she remembered something her grandmother often said: "The greatest journeys always begin when you stop looking behind." Taking a slow breath, Lily stepped forward. The instant she crossed beneath the stone arch, a gentle wave of warm light surrounded her. It wasn't bright, it wasn't blinding, it felt soft, like walking through morning sunshine after a long winter. When the light finally faded, Lily opened her eyes. The world had changed. Towering silver trees stretched high above the clouds, their crystal-like leaves sparkling beneath a sky painted in shades of blue and violet. Tiny, glowing birds drifted peacefully between the branches, leaving delicate trails of golden light behind them. Nearby, a narrow stream flowed across smooth white stones. Its water shimmered like liquid moonlight. As Lily knelt beside it, she noticed something extraordinary. Instead of reflecting her face, the water showed distant memories she had almost forgotten. Her childhood laughter, her grandmother smiling, warm summer evenings beneath countless stars. She blinked. The memories vanished, and the stream became clear once again. The butterfly continued its graceful journey, leading her deeper into this magical land. Soon she reached an open valley, unlike anything she had ever imagined. Fields of glowing flowers swayed gently in the breeze. Snow-white deer wandered peacefully among them without fear. Above, dozens of floating lanterns drifted silently through the sky. Even though no one seemed to have released them, everything felt calm, everything felt alive. Lily smiled without realizing it. For the first time in her life, she had found a place where magic wasn't hidden, it simply existed. And somewhere beyond the glowing valley, someone had already begun waiting for her arrival. The glowing butterfly led Lily across the peaceful valley until they reached a quiet hill overlooking the enchanted kingdom. From there, she could finally see how vast this hidden world truly was. Crystal rivers shimmered beneath silver bridges. Ancient castles rested among the clouds. Waterfalls flowed upward instead of down, disappearing into the night sky before before becoming thousands of tiny stars. Lily stood speechless. Nothing in the stories she had heard as a child had ever imagined a place like this. The butterfly circled gently above her head before flying toward an enormous tree standing alone at the center of the valley. Its trunk was wider than a house. Its branches stretched farther than the eye could see. Every leaf glowed like polished silver beneath the moon. As Lily stepped closer, she noticed something carved into the ancient bark, a single symbol. It was exactly the same symbol she had seen on the stone archway. Curious, she slowly reached out her hand. The moment her fingertips touched the glowing mark, the great tree awakened. A soft pulse of silver light spread through every branch. The ground beneath her feet trembled ever so gently. Across the valley, thousands of tiny lights suddenly rose into the air like glowing fireflies, answering an ancient call. The butterfly became perfectly still for the first time since leading her into the forest. It stopped moving. Then a gentle voice drifted through the night. It wasn't loud, it wasn't frightening. It sounded calm, warm, almost as if the moon itself had learned how to speak. "The forest has been waiting for you." Lily slowly turned toward the sound. No one was there, only the silver trees, the glowing sky, and the quiet whisper of the wind. Yet deep inside her heart, she knew she was no longer alone. Somewhere within the enchanted kingdom, someone was watching, and whoever it was had known her name long before she entered the silver forest. The glowing symbol slowly faded, but the silver tree remained awake. Its branches whispered softly above Lily's head, as though speaking in a language older than time itself. The butterfly lifted into the air once more. This time, it didn't fly forward. It circled the ancient tree 3 times, then disappeared into a curtain of silver mist. Lily watched in silence. Suddenly, the mist began to glow. A graceful figure slowly appeared within the moonlight. She wore a flowing silver gown that shimmered like the surface of a quiet lake beneath a full moon. Long silver hair danced gently in the wind, yet before Lily could see her face, the glowing mist drifted across once again. Only her silhouette remained. A calm voice echoed through the valley. "Every heart that enters this forest carries a question, but only those who choose kindness over fear will discover the answer." Lily looked around. "Who are you?" For a few quiet seconds, there was only silence. Then the mysterious voice answered, "When the final silver leaf falls, you will know my name." The moonlight suddenly grew brighter. The giant tree released hundreds of glowing silver leaves into the night sky. They floated gently around Lily, like tiny stars blessing her journey. And deep within the enchanted forest, something ancient had finally awakened. Lily slowly placed both hands on the glowing symbol. For a brief moment, nothing happened. The forest became completely silent. Even the butterflies stopped moving. Then, a soft pulse of light spread beneath her fingertips. The ancient tree began to breathe. Its branches shimmered like thousands of tiny stars. Golden leaves floated gently into the night sky. The glowing symbol slowly disappeared, as if it had entered Lily's heart. The butterfly circled around her happily. Then a gentle voice echoed through the forest. Only a heart filled with kindness can awaken the tree of wishes. Lily looked around. No one was there, only the wind, the moon, and the magical forest. Suddenly, the tree opened, not like a door, but like light itself unfolding. Inside, a hidden path appeared. It glowed with silver flowers, crystal stones, and tiny floating lights dancing through the air. The butterfly flew toward the path, then stopped, as if waiting for Lily. Without fear, she smiled and took her first step into the secret world beyond the tree. Lily stood beneath the ancient arch, unable to take her eyes off the shimmering light before her. Every heartbeat echoed through the silent forest, as if the entire world was waiting for her next move. The air no longer felt ordinary. It was warm, peaceful, and filled with a magic she had never felt before. Tiny, glowing butterflies drifted through the branches and disappeared into the radiant gateway without fear. Slowly, Lily reached out. The moment her fingertips touched the glowing light, a gentle wave spread across the forest. The ancient trees sparkled, flowers bloomed beneath the moonlight, and a soft breeze carried whispers she couldn't understand. Then a calm voice echoed from beyond the portal. Only a heart filled with kindness may enter the path of light. Lily closed her eyes. She wasn't searching for treasure or power. She only wanted to uncover the mystery that had called to her since childhood. Taking one deep breath, she gathered her courage and stepped forward. For a single moment, everything vanished. The forest, the moon, even time itself faded into endless white light. And as the brilliance slowly softened, an extraordinary new world began to appear before her eyes. The brilliant light slowly faded. Lily opened her eyes. She found herself standing on a narrow crystal path that floated above a sea of silver clouds. Every step beneath her feet shimmered with gentle light, spreading tiny ripples across the transparent stones. The butterfly waited quietly a few steps ahead. For the first time, it didn't lead her. It simply watched, as if this choice belonged only to Lily. She looked around. The hidden world was silent, not empty, peaceful. Far beyond the clouds stood a magnificent palace, glowing beneath the moon like it had been carved from crystal and starlight. Soft waterfalls flowed from floating cliffs, disappearing into the sky before becoming thousands of sparkling stars. Lily smiled. She no longer felt afraid. Every step she had taken had brought her here for a reason. The butterfly finally lifted into the air again, flying toward the distant palace. Lily followed without hesitation. Deep within her heart, she knew the answers she had been searching for were waiting just beyond those glowing gates. And somewhere inside that silent palace, someone was already waiting for her arrival. The crystal gate slowly opened without a sound. Soft silver light poured across the floor like a peaceful river. Lily stepped inside. The castle was quiet. Thousands of glowing stars floated beneath the glass ceiling, filling every corner with gentle light. Beautiful crystal flowers opened as she walked. Tiny butterflies danced around her shoulders. At the center of the hall stood a shining throne made of moonlight. A graceful woman dressed in silver slowly appeared. Her eyes were warm, her smile felt kind. She was the fairy queen. "Lily," she said softly, "we have been waiting for you." Lily looked around in amazement. "You know my name?" The queen nodded. "Every child who believes in kindness leaves a little light in the world. You carried that light here." The glowing butterfly landed gently on Lily's hand. Its wings sparkled brighter than ever. The queen raised her hand. Above them, the stars slowly gathered together. They formed a beautiful crystal key floating in the air. "This," the queen whispered, "is the key of dreams. It protects hope. It protects courage. But its true power can only awaken with a heart that chooses kindness over fear." The key slowly drifted toward Lily. As her fingers touched it, warm silver light surrounded the entire castle. Every crystal tower began to glow. Outside, the moon became brighter than ever. Lily felt something magical awaken deep inside her heart. For the first time, she understood why the butterfly had chosen her. The light around the castle suddenly faded. The stars above disappeared one by one. A cold wind rushed through the crystal hall. Dark mist slowly gathered from every corner. Lily held the key of dreams tightly. The fairy queen remained calm. "The final test has begun," she whispered. From the darkness, a giant shadow slowly appeared. Its glowing eyes filled the hall with fear. "I am the keeper of forgotten dreams," it echoed. "Every child who stops believing belongs to me." The shadow stretched across the palace. The crystal flowers lost their light. Even the butterflies became silent. Lily felt afraid. Her hands trembled. For a moment, she wanted to run. Then she remembered every kind moment of her journey. The glowing butterfly, the whispering tree, the moon bridge, the friends who had trusted her. She closed her eyes. She held the crystal key against her heart. "I choose hope." The key burst into brilliant silver light. The light spread across the hall like a rising sunrise. The darkness began to crack. The shadow roared, but it could not touch the light. One by one, forgotten dreams returned as glowing stars. Children's laughter echoed across the sky. The butterflies flew again. The crystal flowers bloomed brighter than before. The shadow slowly dissolved into tiny silver sparks. Silence returned. The fairy queen smiled proudly. "You have done what many could not. You protected the light, not with power, but with kindness." Lily looked at the glowing key. It now shined brighter than the moon itself. The shadow did not attack. Instead, it stepped closer until its glowing eyes reflected in Lily's own. Then, in a voice softer than the night wind, it whispered, "I was never your enemy." The words echoed across the silent hall. Lily tightened her grip on the crystal. "If you're not the enemy, then who are you?" The creature slowly lowered its head. "I am every fear that was locked away to protect this kingdom. When the queen sealed the light, she also sealed me." The fairy queen closed her eyes. "It is true. For centuries, I believed darkness could only destroy, but fear ignored only becomes stronger." The crystal began glowing brighter. Lily looked from the queen to the shadow. "You've both been trapped all this time." The shadow nodded. "I do not seek the throne. I seek freedom. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Lily took a single step forward. She raised the moon crystal between them. The silver light surrounded both the queen and the shadow. Instead of burning the darkness, it wrapped around it gently, like moonlight touching a quiet lake. The entire palace trembled. Somewhere deep within the castle, an ancient door slowly began to unlock. The final secret of Moonhaven was finally awakening. Luna stood silently before the glowing crystal throne. On her left stood the Guardian of Light, calm as the morning sky. On her right stood the Guardian of Shadows, wrapped in darkness, yet strangely peaceful. Neither of them reached for the crystal. Neither of them spoke. Instead, they both looked at Luna, waiting. A gentle voice echoed through the ancient hall. Only the one with a fearless heart may awaken the crystal. Luna took one slow step forward. The crystal answered. A soft blue glow spread across the floor, like ripples on a quiet lake. Every butterfly in the chamber rose into the air, circling above her head. The Light Guardian smiled. The Shadow Guardian lowered his head with silent respect. Then the darkness spoke for the first time. "Don't fear me, little one. I was never born to destroy this kingdom. I was created to protect its balance." Luna looked at him with surprise. "Then why did everyone call you the enemy?" The shadow closed its glowing eyes. "Because people fear what they do not understand." The hall became silent. The crystal suddenly flashed brighter than the moon itself. Ancient memories appeared around Luna. She saw the kingdom long ago, a world where light and shadow ruled together in perfect harmony. There had been no war, no fear, only balance. But one king had tried to erase all darkness forever. The balance shattered. The kingdom fell. Since that day, both guardians had waited, not for a warrior, not for a queen, but for a child wise enough to choose unity over fear. The crystal floated gently from its throne. It stopped in front of Luna. A warm voice whispered, "Your choice will decide the fate of both worlds." Luna slowly reached out her hands, one toward the light, one toward the shadow. The two guardians looked at each other. For the first time in centuries, they both smiled. At that exact moment, the crystal burst into a radiant beam of silver-blue light that reached beyond the clouds. The entire palace trembled, and deep beneath the kingdom, something ancient began to awaken. As Luna placed both hands upon the moon crystal, the chamber fell completely silent. Even the butterflies stopped in mid-air, as if time itself had taken a single quiet breath. The crystal answered her heart. A gentle blue light spread through every corner of the hall, growing brighter with every second until it surrounded Luna like a warm embrace. The Shadow Guardian stepped forward, but instead of attacking, it lowered its head. Its dark form trembled, not with anger, but with sorrow. For centuries, it had never wanted to destroy the kingdom. It had only carried the loneliness, fear, and forgotten sadness that everyone had left behind. Luna looked into its glowing eyes and whispered softly, "You don't have to carry the darkness alone anymore." At that moment, a single tear of silver light slipped from the crystal and touched the Shadow Guardian. The darkness slowly dissolved into thousands of tiny blue butterflies, rising gently into the night sky. Every shadow became a star. Every fear became light. The Moon Kingdom awakened once again. The flowers opened beneath the moonlight. The crystal towers shimmered brighter than ever before. Rivers reflected the stars like flowing diamonds, and peaceful music drifted through the air once more. The Guardian of Light smiled proudly. "The greatest magic was never power," she said. "It was kindness." Luna looked across the glowing kingdom. She knew she would return home before sunrise, but a small part of her heart would always remain beneath this magical moon. As the first golden light of dawn appeared beyond the horizon, the moon crystal carried her gently back to her own world. When Luna opened her eyes, she was once again resting beneath the old tree where the adventure had begun. In her hand rested a tiny glowing crystal. Whenever the moon shines brightly in the night sky, they say Luna's wish still protects every dreamer, reminding us that even the darkest night can become beautiful when someone chooses hope over fear. And from that night forward, the Moon Kingdom was never lost again. It simply waited for the next child brave enough to believe. Thank you for joining this magical bedtime journey with Abed's Creations. If this story brought you peace, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves magical adventures. Until our next story, close your eyes, dream gently, and have a peaceful night. Sweet dreams.